In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the 3D polyline that we created in the previous video for our storm and our sewer networks. First, we're going to start with the storm, so go ahead and go to the Home tab. Your information underneath the tool space is going to be underneath the pipe networks. So go to the pipe networks in the Home tab and go Create, Design, Pipe Networks. Pull it down. We're going to create the pipe network from the object. We're going to create it using our 3D polyline. So it says select object. So I select the object. Notice that you see the arrows. The arrows are pointing in the direction of flow, so that is correct. If it's not, hit R for reverse down here at the bottom. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit OK because mine's flowing in the right direction. The next thing that pops up is going to be your storm. So here's my Storm 1 network. We're going to change the part list to Storm Sewer. And we're going to create, the pipe to create is, we're going to go ahead and come down here to concrete pipe, and we're going to change that to a 24-inch. So starting out, they're all going to be 24-inch pipes. I'm also going to change the structure type to a concentric cylindrical structure. I'm going to use a 48-inch diameter because typically, unless it's a really deep manhole, the manholes are at least 48 inches on diameter. Now the surface name we're going to use is going to be the corridor surface, and the alignment is based off of Valencia Road. So all my stations and offset are based on the Valencia Road. Now I'm going to go ahead and erase the existing entity, but I'm going to use the vertex elevations. The vertex is going to be the invert of the pipe. So all those elevations that I attached to that 3D polyline is for the invert of the pipe. Now I'm going to go OK. When that occurs, what's going to pop up is going to create my 3D storm system. Now, I'm not going to use this style. I want to change the properties because these are going to be low point. This is going to be a low point. This is going to be a storm manhole, and this is going to be a V invert. So I'm going to click it. Now, when you click it, I want to swap part. When I click it, I want to come over here and right click and go to structure properties. When that pops up, you're going to get this dialog box. I want to change that structure property, that style of object, to a type V inlet. Apply and OK. The reason I'm doing the type V is because this is at the edge of the road. So I'm going to go ahead and rotate this so it's parallel to the curb. Typically when you do a V inlet, it's set at the edge of the curb. I'm going to change this inlet style, so I select it, right click, structure property, or come up here to structure properties, and that is going to be, I'm going to go up, I'm going to change it to the storm manhole. Apply and OK. So now the storm manhole looks like this. On this one, I'm going to change it, right click, or go up, select it, go up to structure properties, and I'm going to change that one to a type 2 inlet. Apply and OK. Now it looks like this. Now this isn't the right location. You may have to create a polyline, and I'm going to go to the end point of here. And I want to set this so that it goes along this line. But see how this edge is? This actually is the valley, the throat of the inlet. And I want it to set where this line is flush with the edge of pavement line. Now, it's a little bit more. The other way you can do this is I can create a circle. If I wanted to absolutely make the exact distance, I could go from center. I'm going to just do some basic measurements. That distance tells me it is 5.5 feet. So I'm going to create a circle where and I'm just going to move this out of my way for right now, just to show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to create a circle at the intersection of where the curb is and where I extended it from the property line. And I said that was a 5.5 foot from this center point to this face of or throat. Now where that black circle, I'll show you, the intersection of this circle and that line hit, I can draw it perfectly. See now how the curb, the cyan line and the green line actually meet the throat of the curb. So I can create that type of inlet. Now, down here, I'm going to go ahead and create from the end point here, and I'm going to draw another circle. I'm just going to move this out of my way for right now. So I'm going to draw a circle, intersection, 5.5. I'm going to change this, right click, surface properties. I'm going to change that to a type 1 left. Apply and OK. Okay, this is going left. That means water is flowing down and falling into this throat, which is true because we're sending all the water down this direction. So I'm going to move this to where center, intersection, here. Well, see how this hits here? We don't want it there. So we're going to have to pull this back, and I'm just going to eyeball it for right now until it hits here. That's where you need to have that throat start, so you don't have problems with the when cars turn that angle, they don't break off this invert. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and change this one. I'm going to come up here. Like I said, you can highlight it and you can change the structure property. The structure property is going to be the storm manhole. Apply and OK. And we have all this data. Now, if we're looking at this, we can look at the data over here in our properties, and it's telling us going from this structure to this structure. It has a 0.5% slope, start invert, and end invert. It looks good. Now, when I look at my structure property, I see that there is a sump invert, and does it match my sump elevation's 223, but my invert is 225. So there is something that's controlling that sump elevation, and I don't want it to be controlled by that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on it, and I'm going to say structure properties. When I do structure properties, I'm going to go to the parts property. I want to change the sump behavior. I'm going to change the depth to elevation, and I'm going to change that elevation to 225 because that's what the pipe invert is. Apply and OK. So when I look at this pipe, upstream was 225 and downstream is 224.67. So I'm going to write that down, 224.67. That's what the invert of this structure should be, or the sump of this structure is. So I'm going to right click, structure properties, parts properties. I'm going to change that to elevation, and I'm going to change that to 224.67. Apply and OK. And I keep doing this all the way down. So I'm looking at this in my parts property. I'm looking at the pipe, and it says 224.67 is the start, so we just fixed that one, and the bottom is 223.15. So I'm going to come to this structure, select it, structure properties, change the sump behavior to elevation, and change that to 223.15. Apply and OK. Now I'm going to do this one. We said the invert of this pipe was 222.45. If you look at your properties, it started out at 223.15 and ended at 222.45. So I select it, structure properties, change the sump, because typically the counties do not allow for sumped structures anymore. Apply, OK, and I have one more. So the invert, select this one. So the upstream was 222.45 and the down was 222.06. Okay, so I'm going to select this one, structure properties, change that to depth, to elevation, 222.06. All right, now when you do that, I also want to go ahead and take a look at this information here. Notice the rim, insertion rim. This is based off of our surface, our existing, our proposed surface. That's what this information is. Hydraulic properties, if we use the StormCAD, it would would be there. The inside diameter is the 4-foot diameter. This tells the computer how to draw the structure itself. Apply and OK. Now what I want to do is go ahead and show you how to draw this into the profile over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the objects. I'm going to select the storm. I'm just holding the shift down, the different types of elements, and I'm going to select similar. Go ahead and select all the inlets. All right, now what I want to do is I want to draw it into this profile. So when I do that, when I selected all of those, up here at the top on my contextual toolbar, it says Draw Parts in Profile. So I select Parts in Profile, and I select the profile to do it in. And there are all my parts. Now, notice that the rim is above it. This is true because it's actually building, we are not at the edge of pavement here. So the center line, remember the center line goes down 2%, comes up a half a foot for the curb, and then starts going up 6%. So that's why this is jutting above that. All right? Now, something doesn't look right here. I've got this structure here that appears to have a odd invert, that it's not actually building it correct. So this one here is, let me get that off of there. Well, I'll take a look at that and we'll come back to that in a minute. So that's how you get your pipes in there. The next thing that I want to do is I want to go ahead and label what I've got. I'm going to come back and fix this point because there's something a bit off on my structures, but I'm not sure at this point in time what it is, but I'll get back to that. Let me go ahead and go to Annotate, Labels, Add Labels, pull it down to Pipe Network, and I want to do the entire network profile. So I'm going to select it, and it's going to automatically label everything. All right. I'm going to take a look at why these structures are looking a little bit odd, but everything else has been labeled. You can take the label and pull it out, F8. The other thing is you can change your label style. I'm also going to do the labels over here in the plan. So I'm going to go over here, Pipe Network, Entire Network Plan. This is my plan view. And it automatically labels these over here, and you can pull these structures. The other thing that you can do is I'm going to call this structure 1. Well, by doing that, if I highlight this, see how it has structure in the properties? You can actually right-click and go, oops, select the structure, right-click, structure properties, information. I'm going to change it to S, capital S-1. I'm going to change this one. Structure properties, S-2. Change this one. Oops. Structure properties, S-3. Structure properties, S-4. And structure properties. This one should be called EX. EX for existing. We're going to pretend this was an existing one, EX1. All right. Now, when we do that, it automatically updates these values here too. So now what it's saying is this is structure 4. It's stationed off of the center line. TOS is top of structure. The elevation top of structure. The invert coming in and the invert going out. Now here's the next thing I want to show you. What if I've got a 24-inch that goes into, well, we'll say this is a 24-inch and the next line is going to be a 36-inch. So I'm going to highlight the storm pipe and I'm going to edit pipe properties. When I do that, I'm going to come down here at the bottom and I'm going to change the diameter to a 36-inch, which is a 3-foot. Apply and OK. So now you can see it's a 36-inch. And then this one I'm going to change to a 48-inch. So pipe properties. This just tells you the invert of the crown, the invert, and the center line. We're not going to mess with those. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to change that to a 3.5. Well, I lied. I'm going to change that to a 4-foot diameter pipe. Apply and OK. Now it automatically updates these. This is the reason why I put the station over when I started doing the profile, so I could write and bring this data up if I wanted. Alright, so now this is what we've got so far. So I'll take a look at these and see structure properties, type 2 inlet, invert, sump behavior, elevation 223, apply and OK. Oh, you know why this doesn't work? Look at this. This is above the actual ground. So what I need to do is I need to change my ground elevation, or I need to lower my pipes. So I'm going to automatically start lowering these pipes. So I can do that. Now this isn't normally how you would do it. You would actually come back in and do the calculations. So I'm going to bring this one down to here, just to show you that that's why it's doing this, is because, oops, your pipe manholes were above grade. So down like that. So now my rim should be there. All right, so you got to be careful on how your pipes look. Now this one's above grade also. So I'm going to bring this down and that down and that down. Now technically I would be doing all these calculations by hand and make sure the information was right, but I'm just showing you how to manipulate this. So we'll take a look at the data, and I'll give you the data in class on how to type what elevations all these should be. But for right now, this is basically what the storm profile would look like. Now here's the other thing that you need to be aware of. When you're dragging the labels, make sure you're picking on the square box. Let's take a look at our plan and profile. So when you all build these, your plan and profile should look nice within your project. It's also set where you should have, I'll delete that, you should have the storm, and this is where you start cleaning up the actual set of plans up here. You're just not going to list everything and then just dump it, all right? So we'll start working on how to clean these drawings up. All right, that's it for now. I'll show you how to do the sewer one next. It's going to be really similar to the storm, so we'll go over that next, all right?